Hey there, my name is Daniel. Welcome to our little podcast. Our guest today is Dustin Schutta. Dustin is a ufologist from Madison, Wisconsin. Our conversation was very interesting and so much fun that I don't want to go into too much detail at this point. Guys, I hope you enjoy this episode, and if you do, please leave a like, a nice comment, or a subscription. And since we are a German podcast project in the first place, I will leave a link to our German channel here on YouTube in the description. And if you speak or understand German yourself, or maybe you have German speaking friends, please feel free to share our German channel. You can also show some love there by leaving a like, a nice comment, or a subscription. Thank you for finding the time to join us. You are from Madison, Wisconsin, and I have heard some crazy UFO sightings from Wisconsin, but maybe you can tell us more about that later if you know anything about it. First,
Sure.
of course, I'd be interested to know how your story started in the UFO field. In a previous interview, you said that you are into the subject for 13 or 14 years already, and you had a
Mhm.
sighting yourself. Is this how it all
Yeah,
started?
it did. Uh, like I said, like you said, I grew up in Madison, Wisconsin, on the west side. And yeah, ever since I was a kid, I was always interested in UFOs. So I always go to the library and go look at the UFO books and look through the pictures and just be amazed and just watch sci-fi movies and always interested in that and Star Wars, of course. But yeah, until I had my own personal sighting back in 2012. It was October 19th. And I was at my girlfriend's house at the time. And this is on the west side of Madison, right behind Hoyt Park on Kendall Avenue. My car was parked. And I was just leaving her house to go to my car to go home. And it was the sun was about to go down. So it was about to get dark. And right when I was about to get to my car, I just happened to look into the sky, and out of nowhere came this black silhouette of a boomerang with five dim lights underneath it. And it's about 25, 30 feet above the treetops. And it was the size of a school bus, and it had no sound. And like I started shaking, my hair stood up, my eyes were wide, my jaw dropped. I ran back to my girlfriend's house. I was like, you won't believe what I just saw. And I was shocked. And ever since that day, I was kind of like on a drive and was determined to figure out what the UFO subject was all about, and just dove in more since then, since 2012.
Awesome. I had a
Yeah,
sighting myself, but I will tell you about that later. And
yeah,
it's so
please.
crazy triangle in the sky, but I'll tell you about that later.
Oh,
And
okay.
you said you're into science fiction. That's great. I loved reading Perry Roden books. Do you know those Perry Roden stuff?
No, I
Oh,
haven't.
bummer,
Huh.
bummer.
Oh, cool. You should send me some of this stuff.
Yeah, yeah. To what extent do you deal with this topic yourself? Do you talk to UFO witnesses, or do you observe the sky? And how do you do your research?
Well, I go to a lot of hot spots in Wisconsin. So Wisconsin is like a treasure trove for the ancient astronaut theory and modern day UFO sightings. There's three towns that claim to be the UFO capital of the world: Dundee, Elmwood, and Belleville. So each town like has so many UFO sightings that these towns actually have yearly UFO parades where they would decorate their cars like UFOs and dress up like aliens and reminisce UFO stories. Um, and they actually have some of these towns have tours where they actually take a bus of people and go to all these spots around town and different farms that UFOs have landed and other people have witnessed. So yeah, the fact that these three towns have these yearly parades kind of started its own modern day cargo cult. It's pretty awesome. So I've been to those three towns, talked to a few people, and ever since I've been doing this, a lot of people have been contacting me on Facebook. just telling me their stories and sending me videos and photographs to look at. I'm not a photographic analyst myself. I'll give my best opinion on what it might have been. Or I could talk about this one guy who has a farm in Poland, Wisconsin, who claims that UFOs had been landing and hovering over his property for years, so much so that he built a landing port, a UFO landing port, for them to come. So he tries to attract them to come land on his port. And yeah, he has people come to his property and he'll tell his story about his interaction with these extraterrestrials that just kind of show up out of the blue.
Crazy,
Yeah, it is
crazy.
crazy. Yeah.
Um, you know what I find interesting is that if one looks at the UFO sightings over the decades, the descriptions of the UFOs are always the current, let's call it, fashion according to the time. First, it was
Mm-hmm.
saucers. Then we had some kind of columnar shaped UFOs, later triangles or balls of light. And then we had the Tic Tac UFOs. Do you feel the same way? And do you have an explanation for it?
I like to say that that Earth is like the Disneyland of the galaxy. With there's so many extraterrestrials coming in and out throughout the years to Earth. It could be like a giant beacon on the bottom of the ocean, kind of say, "Hey, come into Earth and do your own experience or experiments and have their own agendas."
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it is amazing because just throughout history, if you look, like the pyramids, you see pyramids all over. We actually have pyramids in Wisconsin. There's a it's called Aztlan. There's two pyramids that look like they're made from the Aztecs um, or the Mayan. They
Yeah.
even think that the Mayan even might have migrated from South America all the way to Wisconsin and set up shop because the ancient Native Americans that were living in Wisconsin at the time said that some strangers came from afar and set up shop and built this gigantic wooden wall around their town and then built these pyramids. And some of them said they had elongated skulls and they were practicing cannibalism. And they were waging war with other Native Americans that were here and way before they were. Um, and then the most mysterious part about the tribe, they just one day just disappeared, like dropped everything and just gone, and no one has any mystery of what happened to those people.
It's very interesting. I love the ancient alien theory. I had the chance,
Mm-hmm.
we talked before, I had the chance to talk to Eric von Daniken not too long ago. You can find this
Mm-hmm.
episode on our YouTube channel, by the way. It was a great experience. We talked about if aliens could be into music, since he himself and I are harmonica players. And you are also a musician. You do hip hop music,
Yes,
which is great. I love hip hop
yes.
music.
Mm-hmm.
We
Oh,
also
cool.
talked about his ancient alien theories and his work with all that stuff. For those who may have never heard about this, here's a short explanation. On almost every continent of the world, you can find, for example, yeah, I mean, there's more, but you can find rock paintings and carvings that show strange-looking creatures, which with little imagination, perhaps reminds us of aliens as we imagine them. This tempts
Mm-hmm.
the followers of the ancient alien theory to say that the Earth may have been visited by aliens a very long time ago and that they have significantly influenced our history. Maybe that's a little, I don't know if it's good, but it's an explanation
No,
of the
that's a
ancient
great
alien theory.
explanation.
So I guess you're down with the ancient alien theory?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
I love
Yeah.
it. So many great stories. And you over there, you have the Ancient Alien show on television, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been watching that ever since it started.
I never had the chance to watch it over here in Germany, but like I said,
Oh
I had the
man.
chance to talk to Eric von Daniken, and he told me so many great things, and it was awesome. It was awesome. You talked about pyramids in
Mhm,
Wisconsin.
mhm.
Where are they located?
From where I live, it's about an hour, less than an hour, like 45 minutes away. So it's northeast. There is another. Oh yeah, so 5 miles away from there is Rock Lake, and it's right by a Lake Mills. And on the bottom of Rock Lake, there is 10 gigantic pyramids that have been discovered. Well, there were scuba divers who've been doing this since the
Yeah.
70s, going down there and checking these out. But they're like elongated pyramids, and a lot of it's sunk under the mud because over time. But the fact that these were built before there was even a lake there shows how ancient that was. I guess the first settlers that came to Wisconsin saw these peaks of the mountain of the pyramids popping out of the water, and they were asking the Native Americans what those were, and they were saying that there were stone teepees. They're ancient. So
Awesome. So they're
yeah,
underwater.
underwater. Yeah.
Underwater.
Mhm.
Had, did anybody do some research on them? Like if there is
Yes,
an
actually,
entrance or something like that?
there is. There's actually a guy named Frank Joseph who
Frank
actually
Joseph,
wrote a book.
of course. Yeah.
Yeah, he wrote a book about the pyramids on the bottom of Rock Lake, and he also talks. He also wrote a book about
Atlantis.
other ancient, yeah, about other ancient spots all around Wisconsin that just have a bunch of mysteries, and yeah, it's really cool.
Great. There are pyramids all over the world. It's crazy. Even here
There,
in Germany, in Austria, everywhere. In
yeah,
Bulgaria, you have pyramids everywhere. It's crazy.
everywhere.
Crazy. Makes one think.
Hmm. It
Yeah.
does.
I told you. Let me tell you something about my own experience with the UFO topic.
Please.
I'm 42 now, and when I was 16, it was 1996. I'm born in the 80s. I'm born 1980, and
Hmm.
I was 16 back then, and I was with my girlfriend back then, and with a friend, another friend, and we were outside her house. We had a little campfire, and we wanted to sleep in a tent, and we were all laying besides the fire and observing the sky and just looking into the sky and talking about all that stuff. And yeah, 16 years old. And at one point, our friend said, "Hey, what's that?" And I said, What do you mean?" And he said, "Look in the sky. What's that? That's crazy. Is this a helicopter or a plane or something?" And I was looking into the sky, and he said, "That's not a helicopter. That's not a plane." And suddenly I saw a triangle with
Oh,
rounded edges, but it was a triangle and a
right.
light in the middle, and it was just standing there. No movement
Huh.
at all. It was
Whoa.
not moving at all. And it was, I would say, it was pretty close, but I don't know how far or near it was. It's hard to tell because I don't know how big it was. But it was pretty, yeah, pretty big. And it was just standing there. And we, nobody said a word when we all saw it. We were
Right?
we were all
Stunned.
bamboozled and said, "What the fuck?" And then suddenly it started to move, and it made a, I would say, a C-shaped movement, like in the blink of a second. We freaked out, and I said, "What the fuck? I'm out of here." And but we stood there for a while, and then it made another movement from right to left at an extreme speed, and it stopped like this. It stopped like this, and it just stood there with no movement at all again. And then we ran away. We ran inside the house. We shut the blinds. We shut the doors, and then never looked outside the window again. So that was my experience, and it was so intense that it's still with me since
Yeah,
then. I'm 42 now. Like I said, back then I was 16, and
it stays with you
yeah,
once you really see it for yourself. It really
yeah,
does stick with you. It does
yeah.
change your life. It really does, like, turns your life in a whole different direction. Like what I chose for a hobby.
Of course, it changed my life, but to this day, I'm still thinking, was it some kind of technology from a foreign country that I know about? Was it really a UFO? You know, there are so many theories about where they come from or what it is. You don't know. Maybe they're, I don't know. People say they come from other universes. Others say they are time travelers. Some even say there are beings from multiverses. I don't know. There are so many theories about where they actually come from. What is your opinion about it?
I think it's all of them that you just mentioned.
Great, Great answer.
Yeah. No, I'm serious. Like, is is this too many different stories and different things going on that I think almost anything is possible.
Yeah, everything is
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
I know a UFO researcher here from Germany, um, who has written a book called The Return to Mars, Circumstantial Evidence of Mars Flights, I think 12,000 years ago is the name of the book. In the book, he theorizes that there may have been a civilization on Mars a long time ago, maybe even humans. In the meantime, we have launched a rover onto Mars, which is awesome. I'm following all that stuff and I love it. And if you now follow the exploration of the planet Mars and see what kind of pictures this rover delivers to us, you might think that this idea does not sound so absurd at all. We now see images of what looks like, let me think, maybe you remember that door-like entrance
Yes.
carved
That door. Yes.
as it carved with the fingers
Yes.
carved into the mountain. What it really is, of course, remains unclear, but then we have an image that almost looks like a little vehicle, similar to the
Yes.
rover that we brought there. You remember that picture? It was
Yes.
I was bamboozled when I saw it. It was great. And
I
I
think they've
remember,
been filming things in the sky too in Mars.
oh, yeah, and we have metal parts laying around. They say they're from the rover when it landed and stuff, but who knows?
Right.
I don't know. It's yeah. Are you observing the discoveries, and do you have deeper thoughts about it?
I haven't really followed too much on the Mars thing, but I remember hearing about his name, Corey Good. It claimed to be one of the secret space program that was sent to Mars on like a 20-year and back thing. You hear about that? Where where I guess there's whistleblowers out there that have been claiming that we have military people on Mars right now, like setting up shop, getting stuff ready for astronauts to get there. And they've
Yeah.
been doing this since the 60s, like having secret space programs, and
Yeah.
reverse engineering and Operation Paperclip and all that. Because those Nazi scientists were really reverse engineering stuff towards the end of the war.
Yeah, maybe there's so many conspiracy theories about that, and some of
I'm pretty
them,
sure you heard a lot about that. Like,
of course, yeah. I'm from
yeah,
Germany, so
yeah,
I know that stuff. The Nazi Glocke,
yeah, yeah.
the bell,
The
and
bell, yeah.
all that stuff. Yeah, makes one think if there's something about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, not too long ago, we had this hearing in the on the UFO topic in the U.S. Congress. Have you followed this, and what is your opinion?
What they've been saying in Congress lately, I guess I haven't really followed that.
There was a big hearing in the UF Congress about
Was that
the
not
discovery.
too long ago where they were talking about stuff they were
Yeah,
analyzing, and
yeah,
they kind of gave us kind of bullshit
yeah. They
kind
made
of
some videos from this. I don't know, from this battleship or what it was, or from this.
in those Tic Tac videos too.
Yeah, of
They were
course. Yeah,
analyzing.
that's
Yeah,
what I mean. Yeah,
those are pretty blows me away, especially with those fighter jets or chasing those things. And
yeah.
then hearing what they were saying about what they actually saw with their two eyes, when they were chasing it, and how it was in the water and it popped out and even looked at them and shot around them and doing crazy speeds around them. Yeah.
What I find interesting is that they haven't told us something new on all
Oh,
this stuff. But what's great and interesting about it is that they even talked about it openly
it's true.
on TV.
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
a big step forward. I'm
Yes.
sure they haven't told us everything they know, but a big step
And
forward. They
I
talk
think
about it.
I think Europe is even a little bit more open about the conversation about UFOs than America is.
Everybody tells me that, but whenever I talk to
No?
somebody from USA or England, and everybody says that, but in Germany, the governments they are UFOs. Ha ha ha. No, we don't have stuff that you have, like I don't know, people that cares about it and collect evidence about it and stuff. No, nothing here. Nothing,
Hmm.
nothing at all. No. If you see something on TV that is about UFOs, it's
Hmm.
always with a smirk on the face.
Hmm.
It's never
Hmm.
serious. It's always, they always make fun of it. We, from the podcast, we had some requests from TV uh, uh, um stations to talk about that stuff, and um I always say no, because I know what happens. They always make fun of it and, yeah, laugh about
Yeah.
it. So no. In Germany, it's not the same. No.
Hmm. That's
um
unfortunate.
that's unfortunate.
Hmm.
um what is what is the most impressive UFO case that you have heard about?
That I personally heard about, or just in general. I don't know. There's a
What's
lot.
the most impressive UFO case for you?
uh, Besides my own sighting, I like the case of back in 1961 with Joe Simonton. He actually has physical proof of his encounter. So he was in his kitchen eating breakfast, and he just happened to, in the corner of his eye out the window, he saw this UFO coming down like an elevator. And he's shocked, and he ran out the door right to see what it was. And this door opens, and a human with brown hair and blue eyes popped out and didn't say anything, but had a jug, an empty jug, and he was motioning for water. And he hands the jug to Joe, and Joe's just stunned. He said the guy had really penetrating eyes where he just couldn't really look at him straight. So he ran and grabbed him some water. And when he gave him water, the other extraterrestrial popped out, just like the other one, and handed him like three or four of these like skinny little pancakes. They were just tiny little wafers. I guess he took a bite of one of them. He said it tasted like cardboard, and he was pretty shocked that he was surprised that they would live off that if they were eating that. But anyways, he was just blown away that he had something physical after they jumped back into their ship and just shot right back up into the sky. He's just like, he's left there with some like these pancakes in hand. So he took those pancakes to some scientists to be analyzed, and they found out that they were regular buckwheat pancakes, but didn't have any trace of salt. Everything on Earth has a trace of salt
Everything.
because of the oceans. And so they were just saying that these were maybe made off planet, that whatever these um, extraterrestrials came from didn't have salt from their home planet. And this was on Ancient Aliens, this segment, if you ever check that one out. I think it's called Food from the Gods. That's what the episode's called.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
it was kind of like symbolizing communion almost, in a sense, how communion came about. If this thing asked for water and then gave a wafer. I don't know. So this guy was pretty blown away that he had something physical, and I think it's an amazing case because I don't know.
What
'Cause
what happened to the pancakes?
uh, they were analyzed by scientists. I think other people still might have them. They're like last time I saw them, they were like in a glass case. This is back in 1961 that I saw. I mean, these videos I saw of the pancakes.
I would have looked for DNA on these pancakes.
Yeah,
I don't know. Crazy. No salt.
yeah, it's crazy. No
Anything
salt.
else strange besides no salt? No,
No,
nothing special.
they're just regular buckwheat pancakes. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then there's another case where Wendell Stevens actually came to Wisconsin and checked out this case out in Colfax, Wisconsin, where this police officer named Mark Coltrane was sitting in his cop car on the side of the road eating lunch and listening to the radio. And then his radio started crickling in and out. And he just happened to look into the sky and he saw this metallic object actually zigzagging towards his car. And he's like, oh shit. So he grabbed his camera and jumped out of his car and took a series of photographs. That I have some of those from Wendell's collection. But yeah, he was pretty blown away that a police officer actually reported this UFO.
Awesome.
It
So
is.
you talked about in the beginning. We talked about some UFO cases from Wisconsin.
Mhm.
What happened in Wisconsin?
Besides those
Yeah.
other two, let's see.
Oh,
There's
they were in
another case.
Wisconsin. They were in Wisconsin.
Yeah, those are
Ah,
Wisconsin.
okay.
Yeah,
I missed
I'm
that.
sorry.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's right. Uh, like I said, Joe Simonton with the pancakes is from Eagle River,
Okay.
Wisconsin, and then Mark Coltrane is from Colfax, Wisconsin.
Mhm.
And then there's another case in Mellon, Wisconsin, where a whole family, the Baker family, saw this UFO land right in their front of their driveway. This is back in 1975, I believe. Yeah, I might be wrong on the date, but the the I guess the dad came out and was about to go up to the UFO, and the family's screaming at him, "Don't get near it! Don't get near it!" And he backed off, and then shortly after he backed off, this thing just shot like a gun, shot like a bullet right into the sky. And yeah, there's no evidence, but the cops did show up to the Baker family, and they explained what they saw. And there, I guess the officer believed them because they had nothing to really gain, or the fact that they're trustworthy people. And
For me, there's two cases that I really that I'm really into, but because I had the chance to talk to witnesses, to actual witnesses. It
oh,
was
cool.
for one, it was the Pascagoula incident.
Oh, cool.
I had the chance to talk to. It's also on our podcast channel. I had the chance to talk to Calvin Parker, and I'm very thankful that he took the
You
time to
got to
talk
talk
to
to
me.
him.
Yeah, I talked to him.
I'm a big fan. I'm a big
There's
fan.
the book right there. You're right.
Oh man,
Yeah,
I
it's an
I even got I got all of his autographs too.
yeah. There he is.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
got all his autographs.
who did the sketches?
He did.
He did.
Yeah.
It's an awesome
Yeah.
case, and it's so strange that it could be true. And I had the
Yes.
chance, like I said, I had the chance to talk to him, and it's on our YouTube channel. It's in English with German subtitles.
Yeah, I like to check that
Um,
out.
but it was for him. It was not. It was very hard to talk to me because yeah, Calvin Parker is very ill. He has cancer,
Mm.
and his tongue
Oh
was
no.
swollen from the therapy. His tongue was swollen, and it was very hard to understand him. But it was great talking to him, and he's a very humble and a very great guy. And I really, really appreciate that he took the time to talk to me, even though he was very
Wow.
sick. And
You are so lucky, man.
yeah, it was great.
Well,
It was great, and
you get to talk to a lot of people that I idolize, so
I
that's
don't
really
know.
cool.
I just ask the people, and if they say yes, it's okay, and if they say no, it's okay too. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was great. I really appreciate it, and it was very interesting. I talked to him before we started recording and after we started recording, and he told me some stuff afterwards that's not in the interview, and it was very interesting too. But
Mm.
that's one of the cases I really, really enjoy hearing about, and always more and more new stuff is coming out from Philip Mantle. You know Philip Mantle?
I don't.
You don't. He's a book publisher from England,
Okay.
and he published a book of Calvin Parker.
Okay, cool.
And the other case is the Ruwa Zimbabwe case.
Oh, is that in Australia?
Nope, it's Africa.
Africa. Oh yeah.
Maybe you
Oh,
heard about
South
it.
Africa.
Yeah.
Yes, with the school children.
Yes.
Yes.
There are many children and also teachers at the Ariel School. The Ariel School in Ruwa, Zimbabwe, have seen those UFOs coming down from the sky, and there are also beings to have exited and communicated with the children telepathically.
That's right. That's
And
right.
I had the chance on a I had the chance to talk somebody that has been there when it happened. He was one of the kids that witnessed all of
Oh
it.
shit.
His name is Francis, and he was there at this convention where I spoke and he spoke on stage, and we talked afterwards. We yeah got into the nightlife, had some drinks afterwards, and he told me his story. And I have to say, he is not into that UFO topic at all. He doesn't care about
Right.
the UFO topic. He experienced what experienced, and he's talking about that. And he said, I don't care about UFOs and I don't care about all the topic too much.
Mhm.
It's interesting. I listen to all that stuff and it's interesting, but I'm not into it. So really
Hmm.
deep. And yeah, he told me a story, and he told me the craziest story about what happened. It was awesome talking to him. Yeah, maybe we'll have a podcast with him in maybe a few weeks. I don't know if
That'd be
he will ever
great.
get back to me. I don't know, but it was very interesting talk to him. That was a very interesting case because, like I said, because I had the chance to talk to these guys, and when I
Yeah.
talked to Calvin Parker, I had the feeling that all all he says is true. You know, sometimes you talk to people, and while they're talking, you're thinking, "Fuck it,
Mhm.
that's crap." But
Mhm.
with Calvin Parker, I talked to Calvin Parker, and he was so honest and open about it, and
Genuine.
you
Yeah.
see it in the face. You can see
Yes.
it's that's true. What he says, it's true. And the same with Francis from the Ruva Zimbabwe incident. He talked to me, and everything he said, it was so believable. It was crazy, awesome. It was so awesome to talking to him, and yeah, I asked him if you had the chance to experience something like that again, would you? And he said, I don't know. That back then it was very terrifying, but now, yeah, maybe. He said, yeah,
Yeah.
I think I would. Great.
Wow. That
Yeah,
is amazing. Very lucky that you got to chit chat with those people.
yeah. I'm very
Wow.
lucky. I'm very lucky.
Yeah.
And that's you don't get the chance too often in your life. So like the same with Eric von Daniken. I don't know if I ever get the chance to talk to him again, but that one time it was awesome.
Well, that's great.
Really great. Yeah.
That's great.
Um we talked about your extensive collection of UFO photos in your home. If I saw
Yeah.
correctly, you have a lot of stuff hanging on your
Yeah.
wall.
Hanging on my wall. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can tell you a little bit more of how I
yeah,
started collecting. So I was just on this last year. I was on eBay and I was searching for more of like books on, that Wendell Stevens has wrote. So I just love collecting his books. I saw there was a bid going on for his storage locker and actually had a real detailed description of where these photos came from and who was paying the storage locker fees after he died in 2010. One of his associates were paying his locker fees until he recently died. And then I guess the whole locker got bidded off to one guy that actually took that material and brought it to a bookstore in Utah that had like a storage locker area. And then they were slowly bidding off the boxes out of there. So yeah, so they were having it was about like a week long. Every day they were bidding off a bunch of photographs, and I was winning a shit ton of bids out of these people. So I was like, yes, that's. I didn't win everything, unfortunately. I was trying to, um, but I got a good amount, over about 200 photographs. A lot of them have his handwriting on the back of them with details of who shot the photograph and where exactly the photograph was shot and stuff like that. So I started. So I one of the photographs that are series of photographs that I got from his collection is with a beam ship with a F-117 stealth fighter,
yeah,
and I put that on Facebook, one of Billy Meyer's group page Facebooks, and I put it on there. It's like, hey, I got this collection of uh, this beam ship pictures, and it went nuts, it went viral. We're like Michael Horn got my information and got a hold of me, and we talked on the phone for like 40 minutes, and he wanted me to send photographs of the photos that I had and the backside of them, because apparently 2 years ago he went to that same storage locker where I got my photographs from, and he found those copies of the original beam ship with the F-117 um, stealth fighter, and so he just wanted to make sure that I had the extra copies. So I sent him that, and he confirmed it with me that I had the other original set. And he told Billy Meyer that I had. He said he's going to spread the word that I had the other copies of these photographs. And yeah, just been keeping in contact with him on emails, and he's been very nice. It's pretty surreal, the fact that he actually contacted me, that made it more real that I actually had something that's real value.
Yeah.
So
I'm very
yeah.
jealous. I'm very jealous. But I'm so happy for you. I'm
Oh,
so
thanks,
happy
man.
for you. But I'm very
Thanks.
jealous. I would love to have some UFO photos, actual
Yeah.
UFO photos.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's a little bit depressing is when it comes to UFOs, we have all the photos and videos. We see those
Mm-hmm.
videos on YouTube and Facebook and everywhere and TikTok and shit like that. And we have so much, and though we have nothing. So there's no actual proof. When I say proof, I mean proof. So
Mm-hmm.
all those photos and videos, yeah, they show something, but there's no real proof what it is or where it's from. That's a little bit depressing that we get so much all the time. There's a UFO picture every day. Somebody is taking a UFO picture, and
Yeah.
it's great. Don't get me wrong, it's great. I love it, and I love watching those videos and those observing those pictures. But it's nothing. We have nothing. We have nothing at all. It's only for, yeah, it's our hobby. We have no actual proof, and that's a little bit depressing. What's the use? No, we have just the pictures, and yeah, that's a little bit depressing.
Yeah. And then too, we have a lot of people who are skeptics that are
Yeah,
always clunking heads with the believers and the ones. Trust me, I've gotten my fair share of people who are very angry or think that I'm faking or I'm a con man for faking these photographs, or I'm crazy theories that people are thinking that I'm doing, and then they have to threaten me, or it's really crazy. So uh yeah, I guess that's probably the only downside about collecting this type of stuff. I get a
yeah,
lot of people that just don't believe it, or just think I'm a con man, or they think that Wendell Stevens is a con man, or crazy shit. I don't know.
yeah. There's always a downside to it.
I don't know how well you can see from here, though. These are the collection of the F-117 stealth fighter with the beam ship from 1981 near Groom Lake.
How it's not so good to see, but how is it shaped?
Just like a classic UFO shape,
Yeah,
a saucer.
like a
Hmm.
saucer. Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting. How many pictures do you have from this kind of UFO? From this actual
Uh,
UFO?
from that series is 12 photographs.
Since we talked about faking stuff, and there's so many fakes out there, um, just today I watched a video of there's an interview and a video out there with an interview with an alien. They
Um,
claim that it shows an actual interview with an alien.
oh, weird.
Have you seen it?
No, I
Oh,
haven't.
there's footage. Yeah, you can see the big head of an alien with those big black eyes, like a gray, I would say.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, it's an interview with this alien, and yeah, 50% say it's fake, 50%
Okay.
say it's real because of the movements, and it looks like a puppet or something, or
Huh.
like a,
If
yeah.
you could send me a link, I'd like to check it out.
Yeah, we'll send it to you. It was an American on an American TV show,
Oh,
and
okay. Yeah.
actually
Shit.
they
I'm surprised I haven't.
they interviewed a German UFO researcher also. I'm friends with him on Facebook. And I talked to him about other stuff. He's not into the UFO stuff anymore. His name is Michael Hesemann.
Hmm.
He was a UFO researcher back then. The interview is pretty old, like from the 90s. early 90s, but very interesting. And they interviewed guys from Hollywood who create Hollywood monsters in their
Oh, okay.
yeah, and then they say, could this be real? And yeah, it was very interesting. I will send you the video,
Yeah, please
and
do.
I will put a link below this interview too. Yeah, very interesting, very interesting. Yeah, Dustin,
Hmm.
thank you for taking the time. It was very interesting talking to you.
Yeah, man.
Very, very interesting, very cool, and maybe we can meet again. I have so many more
Yeah,
questions, but
yeah. I have more to share with you, so we should definitely do this again.
yeah. And I hope people don't mind my bad English because actually I'm from Germany, like I said, and my English is not
Dude,
perfect.
your English is really good for German. So
Thank you,
yeah,
thank you. I'm doing my best, but
yeah,
yeah,
I could understand every word you said. So
that's great. That's great.
yeah,
Yeah, like I said, thank you. Please stay with me for 2 more minutes.
yeah.
And yeah, thank you guys for joining in.